Today, we're going to be taking a look at the top 30 vintage hockey sales on eBay for the month of April. This is another addition to my top 30 eBay sales series here on the channel, where I cover a various amount of subjects ranging from baseball all the way to Olympics to non-sports. 8 videos a month, by the way, right now. But beyond that, these hockey cards are going to range from $2,000 all the way through 5 figures, and it's actually dominated by a lot of pre-war this month, which isn't too normal when you take a look at vintage cards. With that being said, I'm sure I'm missing a few sales, so please let me know down below in the comment section what cards should have made the list and any mistakes that I made on the video, because I do want to make these better. All right, let's take a look at this list. Starting off our inaugural hockey list with a Maurice Rocket Richard. Try saying that pretty fast. 1955 Parkhurst. This one got a 7, although I think this is a pretty generous 7. Now, one thing I'm not too sure about is these bottoms over here, if they all look like this with the 55s. I'm familiar with the design, but just not if that kind of like a print effect is on every single card. But what I did notice with this one is the back's a little bit cut off. Again, I'm not too familiar because I haven't really analyzed these cards too much. I don't even think I've owned a 1955 Parkhurst, but you can see there's quite a large gap between the left and the right. I don't think this would get a 7 today because of that miscut back, unless they're all like that. But this one sold for $1,725. Another one of his cards, 1953-54 Parkhurst. This is actually a dual autograph. Now, this isn't authenticated, so it probably went a little bit less. I'm surprised the seller didn't try authenticating this, because I feel like if it got a dual PSA grade, the value would go up, especially because it's a nice looking card. I mean, this looks like a 4+. I can't tell what's going on in that corner over there, but this autograph grade would probably be a little bit lower, whereas this one is probably a 10. That's, I don't know, anywhere from like a 6 through 8. I don't really study autographs that much, so I would assume that you would want to also try to authenticate this yourself, or authenticate it through like a PSA or BGS quick opinion before bidding on this card. But still, $2,000. This could be a steal, or this could be way overpriced. I couldn't tell you. Another Rocket Richard. This is, I think, our third one already on the list. This is a 1951 Parkhurst. This one sold for $2,000 in a 1 grade. This is considered probably one of the grails of hockey. Now, this has so many creases. I mean, looks like waves throughout this card. But they kind of blend in from far away. Backs on these are super, super plain. And this is a card I expect to be on lists every month if it does end up selling. $2,025 Pierre Pilot. I'm probably mispronouncing, which you guys will know. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of these hockey names because I don't deal with hockey cards on a day-to-day basis, although I want to learn. But that's also part of the reason why I'm making these videos. These look like also those tall boys from the football side of things, which I believe were issued a year later. A very similar design with that yellow background. And I don't know if there's a lot of short prints or not in the hockey side of things, or the scarcity on how it compares. I think we're going to see all three of the like 1908 through 12, or it's somewhere around that range of these tobacco hockey cards, C55s through 57s in this list. This is Ernest Russell in a PSA 5. Comcy actually sold a lot of high-end vintage hockey this month, surprisingly, in these auctions. So we'll see quite a few littered throughout this list. But this is the first one, 5 grade. And that is the 56. I forget the order. I think 57 is last. Maybe it's like 55, 56, 57. I don't know. There's always some weird order sometimes with how these are numbered. At 1968-69, Don Ari, PSA 10 Gem Mint, a new slab also. Really nice looking card over here. And I was reading the description on this a little bit before the video, and it's from a set break, number 2 set of all time, and pops listed of 2020. So this card has possibly been on eBay for 4 years, almost. 3.5 technically, because when it was issued, well, less than that, but, or technically more than that, but still, really nice looking card. I wonder if they decreased the price or someone finally decided to buy it at the original price point. 2208 Gordie Howe, 1953 Parkhurst. Pre-Topps card and this one was a 7.5. Again, sold by Check Out My Cards, which makes you wonder if someone that just bought a bunch of e-packs and sold all the stuff, they decided to get into this Gordie Howe, or if it was just a hockey collector just browsing on eBay. Wonder which one ended up purchasing that. I don't know. I think it's a great way to use some of your COMC funds if you buy a high-end card at an auction, but that's my opinion. 2250, 1954-55 Topps Gordie Howe. This is his first Topps card. This is a KSA 8.5. Now, it looks like there's like a gum stain there. I don't think that's on every card. Again, could be wrong. KSA tends to be a little bit overgraded in comparison to like a PSA or SGC, but they are a pretty reputable company from what I've heard from people. But they're obviously more hockey focused than anything else. And I've seen a few slabs appear at Florida shows before. 2313, another Check Out My Cards. This is 1933 Hamilton gum, which I was surprised how many sets hockey has from 1933. I did not realize that before I started researching for this video. Now, I think this is in French down below and then English right over here, which would make sense. This was issued in Ontario, Hamilton chewing gum. A lot of design choices that are kind of interesting. This super sharp looking card. 2384 Skinner. It's a C56 from 1910. Once again, check out my cards. Yeah, I think the order is C56 is 1910, C55 is 1911, C57 is 1912. I think that's the order. I'll memorize that over time, but 6 is a pretty high grade. C57, Ernie Russell. I think we did go over one of his cards earlier, and this was a buy it now. Old label on this one. I don't know, C57s are my least favorite of the 3 years. 2402 Orland Kurtenbach, another player I'm not too familiar with. And this was a PSA 9, super nice blue background on that one. Really pops. 2633, a BVG Guy Lafleur. That's one I think I remember. It's supposed to be Guy, not Guy. I originally called it Guy when I first bought one of his cards. But these pictures kind of suck. Sorry to the seller. I just can't tell what's going on. This one sold for $2,600, but these pictures are way better here. I know BVG tends to overgrade stuff, at least on the baseball side of things. And this is what, the O-Pee-Chee or the Topps? O-Pee-Chee. He has both O-Pee-Chee and Topps. Topps is a lot less valuable. 2738, Bobby Orr, a 1966 Topps autograph. Poor one, an autograph being a 10. That is a very poor one. Turk Broda, 1937 OPG. I actually kind of like this design a lot. It'd be interesting if there's a baseball set with that. Again, check out my cards. They got a really awesome pre-war vintage hockey consigner, because I'm sure this is just a fraction of the stuff that's sold. 3678. Herb Clark, once again by a COMC. This one centering isn't that great, but it looks like it has some pretty sharp corners. 3802, Probstein sold this Wayne Gretzky Topps autograph. PSA 4 auto of a 10. Not a bad looking for, obviously technical from that corner. 3931, Bobby Hull, which is one of his earlier cards in his career. A PSA 8. So that's pretty popular. It's already been on here, 3 times? 3935, another 1964, Tom Williams. Bruins, PSA 8. Sports card forever. Selling a ton of these, probably had a set break. And people are upgrading their registry. I wonder if it says anything down below. Nope, doesn't say anything about the registry. 3938, Howie Morenz, a player I am quite familiar with. This is actually later in his career. Some of his first cards in the 1920s. But he's also in the Sports King set from 1933. about $4,000 for this Hamilton gum, which I believe there's 4 colors also on these. I'm curious if there's any premium based around the colors. But jumping to $4,800, 1979 Topps Gretzky in a PSA 8. Super old certification on this one. Touched corner over there. I don't think that gets an 8 today based off of some of their grading standards. They've changed a lot since then, but probably what, a 6? They're just super strict on these in general, and there's a print effect right there. 54 is 74. Another Turk Broda. So I assume he's a pretty famous goalie. I know if he's just a common or not. I'll have to do some research. But one of these that were consigned and sold. This is your design that was also issued in baseball. A little bit of a cutout over there. Text on the back. 55 at 92. This is approximately 5606, so a little bit of conversion differences. But a Parkhurst Gordie Howe in A2, one of your classic, probably easily top 5 most famous vintage hockey cards of all time. Probably, it's easily the most famous since 1951 Parkhurst set too. And it'll always make this list, and even in 01. 5781, Art Ross. Also, people know the famous trophy, the Art Ross one. I believe is the most, is either points or goals. Someone's probably laughing at me and saying how I don't know this, but I don't follow. Like I said, I don't follow hockey as much as I do with baseball. 5800. Oh, did KSA get new slabs? This almost looks like an SGC slab. That's actually kind of funny. I did not even realize they got new slabs. I haven't seen this one in person yet. 5800 on this Bobby Orr. You saw the signed one earlier. This is non-signed, and you'll see also the test issue towards the end. 69, 56, and 55 cents. This V145. I'm gonna completely butcher that, but what? Oriole Juliet? And pretty tough set to find, I'm pretty sure. I've only seen a few of these at card shows, but yet again, I don't really see too much hockey or vintage hockey even at the shows that I've attended. Maybe like 1 or 2 dealers. Our top selling Gretzky card this month is this KSA. Sold for $8,800. It's a 9.5. Seems like a crazy grade. Why you wouldn't get that graded by like a PSA or SGC? I can't tell if those are curved or just the picture. Can't tell. And these rough cuts are normal on these cards. Very, very high grade. I mean, even if it comes back, what, like a PSA 9 or SGC 9? An 8? I don't know. I don't know what the values of those are on top of my head, but this was the top selling O-Pee-Chee Gretzky this month. This, I believe, is the first Howie Morenz card, 16,975. 1923. One of your grails of pre-war cards, or at least the hockey side of things. Now the top selling card is this Bobby Orr MC. This one sold for $20,000, but for full transparency, I did see this up here. They relisted the item, so I guess it technically didn't sell, but this was originally on my list, so I still share it with you guys. But I don't know if I'd count this as number 1. Otherwise, I'd put the Morenz in the first spot. But it did say this one sold, but it got relisted. So maybe the buyer did not pay. But this is the test issue. And just to show you why it's a test issue, you have this white strip over here. I actually have seen some pretty high grade test issues before at shows. And yeah, so there's 3 different Bobby Orrs from 1966 that made the list. Always a famous post-war hockey card. Let's go into some honorable mentions. 1982 for this 1953-54 Parkhurst complete set. Also, rookie card over there, one of the better hockey players. Wonder the math behind it, if it makes sense. I guess you'd have to really see how many. I was gonna say Gordie Howe. How does that look? Not bad. And how many cards is there in here? Howe is a KSA5, but case is cracked. That's the rookie. Yeah, this would be something you just do the math behind. 3,500 for a 1954 full set, and I talked about this over here. That's just on every card. Basically, the same exact thing is right there. So, I was wrong, and I will own up to that. Another set. This one sold for $22.50, but you have the Howe in A3. I wonder if it's all threes. No, just a bunch of roll. Besides that. And lastly, since they didn't show a C55, this one sold for I think $1,100 or $1,155 of Art Ross in the C55s. These are actually my favorite of the three. I love the design on these. I actually picked up a few of these over in Europe. Not Art Ross. If I picked up Art Ross, I probably would have kept it. But see how those get graded. Yeah, that is the first hockey one. I still have a lot of information that I need to personally learn. I'm not an expert by any means in hockey cards, but if I did miss any top sales this month on the vintage side of things, please let me know so I can improve the data for these videos and any mispronunciations or a little bit of information on some of the players that I did not know. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you in another video.